checkpoint to enter into Angkor Wat. The photographer photographing Angkor Wat. This is the beginning. It is painful to watch the deterioration of once a great place. The Cambodian, the wedding procession. This is the wedding scene. Bride and the groom. The entrance to the temple, to the Angkor. This is a gateway. Another view. Cambodian wedding. The couple are very happy. That is the Aravanta elephant. Indra riding and Apsaras behind. Jayavarman
provinces.
King Jayavarman built this built this temple, who also became a Buddhist, was earlier a Brahmin king. Here the Linga is also there. Unlike the Vishnu was the main deity, the earlier Angkor temple, but Buddha statue is installed now as Buddhism became the religion at that time. Locals using a bike. All around is local people going in a truck. The whole family. Steps are very steep. This is Apsara on the pillars. Detailed carving, all in a sandstone. That is the boat, and the names are South Indian of these kings, Jayavarman. So Cholas also had similar waterways than the boats developed. So I don't know whether there is a link between the two. This is a birth of a child with a woman delivering, and this is a medical helper. I'm not sure whether this is a physician. From the outer wall where we saw the carvings, This is the inside Sanchram with the Buddha's face on the Gopuram. This is Pustaka Alaya or library where the ancient scripts were kept. Shiva Lingam on one of the top of the entrance. At the upper level we climbed several steps. Some of the views from the top as to how some of those pillars and all were present. The main sanctuary, this appears to be a possible Shivaling. The form is different compared to the Hindu one. Another view. Somebody is turning very religious, very hard to believe. I hope the wisdom of Buddha will come to her. Guru Dakshina is also being given. She is blessing her. Hopefully get married soon with 8 children. Another view. Another view of the same temple in an angle where earlier I took a picture of that first bride and the groom. This is the main. This is the outside of the temple. Looks and feels just like as in India with all the tourists, probably many more. The colorful monks visiting the temple. Danger, Apsara, Sophia mission. I fully agree with Cambodians. More close-up of the same temple. Main Angkor Wat, which stretches from one end to the other. To the other end.
Building 1.5 meter high or 1 meter wide, the support a small block. And it is not flat.
The top of it is the theme from Ramayana of Hanuman and his army fighting. This is Brahma, it looks like. This I cannot clear out unless it is Vishnu with Sri Devi and Bhudevi, but it is not very clear. This is the entrance to the Vishnu temple. Surya Varman II apparently built it, full of Hindu epic scriptures here. This statue apparently moved from the central part, and my guy tells me it is Vishnu. I am not sure. Vishnu has 8 arms. That I am familiar. Somebody has to educate me on that. Another view. With all the tourists around. Some of these carvings are apparently apsaras. Many of the pieces still lying loose on the ground. Who can complain about see-through clothes? This is an evidence of how even in a sculpture A see-through appearance was made for an apsara. This is again a Pustakalaya in the main Vishnu temple. That's a major Angkor temple. Apparently the three towers stand for Brahma, Vishnu and Maheshwara. Now the closer view. As we enter, onto the right hand side on the wall is apparently Mahabharat are pictured, and on the left side it is the Ramayana. Another view from one of the windows of the temple of the entrance. Now I am on the right wing, epic the Mahabharat. It is Bhishma on the bed of arrows. This army is marching from one end of the wall to the other. Does not seem to be in an order. This is another view of the Mahabharata war, but I am still looking for Arjuna and Krishna. Finally, I found the Krishna.
We know just three parts in here. Krishna and
Arjuna. That is the elephant as part of the Mahabharata war. This is Ravana with the Shiva and the Kailash. It is tapas, apparently shaking the gods that frighten the devatas. This is the Bali and Sugriva with the Rama with his arrow in his hand. This part of the Mahabharata also had certain scenes from Ramayana. Watching all this temple, when you get tired, that is the time to picnic and relax.
Vishnu Loka, his name.
Parama Vishnu Loka,
Yeah, Vishnu
that
is
is
the name of the god. It's the king and the god.
Surya Varman number 2 who built this main temple. A view from the temple of the path leading on to the end almost. I too quickly moved it. That is the light falling through a window that was created with the floor that's made of stone. And these are the windows of the outer circle of the temple. This is the ceiling.
Concrete is
Here. Heaven and hell. With the heaven in the lower part with some animals and snakes biting, with the earth being in a normal way, and heavenly concepts. Again back to earth.
buffalo.
This
many
is
arms.
Yama.
When we die at home, we meet him. We meet him. If I'm a good guy, he's a fan.
That is the buffalo head, Yama's Vahana. This is the Amrit thing stirring the ocean with the serpent on one end. These are demons. This is Devatas on the other side, and in between the Rakshasas and Devatas, this I think is the Shiva doing the Tandava Nartana. I could be wrong. Somebody need to correct me on this. This is on the east side or back of the temple. An artist drawing A painful contrast of the broken issues and the present children receiving something and someone who is generous. This is the Pali language. Possibly the Mahabharata one, the appearance of the lion, probably of a Chinese influence later. This is Garuda, the Cambodian concept.
Indra riding on the elephant.
Vishnu. There's Indra riding the elephant Airavati. And Vishnu and Garuda. Here Ravana is depicted with many arms. I'm not sure whether it's really Ravana. Plus drawn by the lion. Ravana should have 10 heads, not that many arms. This is Shiva.
How many wives Shiva have? Nine.
Ganesh, and Skanda is referred in Cambodia.
9 wives. It's the god of.
There are 9
Scholar.
wives for Shiva
And Skanta,
in
the god of war.
Cambodian concept.
In Hinduism, Uma was
Surya with his chariot, and here our guide tells me that the Garuda was the driver. View from the temple, left outside. After a full circle, we have come back to the front. Now this section contains views from Ramayana. Looks like Rama and Lakshman. And the next view, Anjaneya is actually carrying Rama. Again in the Cambodian version, Ravana is drawn by a lion
Symmetrisch, zentrisch.
and he has got many arms.
Bis auf die Journey of the
This is like a small pool as seen in many Hindu temples. This is inside. Now we have finished the perimeter and gone inside now. This must be Rishis in a prayer or a meditation mode. Originally a Vishnu temple, later the idols of Buddha was placed and took over by the Buddhist monks and became a Buddhist shrine. To watch the sunset. View from almost at the top. The steps are extremely steep to climb.
Dici che non me la sento.
Other view of 5 people has to climb. The view of the main tower from inside. The view from the top. The very extreme is the gallery, that outer gallery. People waiting to see the sunset. Waiting for the sunset to see what changes it's going to show. As usual, I'm watching the sunset, sitting high up in the Angkor Wat. Where Rani says that they go all over the world to watch the sunset, but this is beautiful. She should have been here too, climbing up these steep steps. The real fun is coming down the steps. Monkey with a straw and a child in a family, but the monkey just clings to the younger one. This is the royal bath. With the steps going down, you can see how some of them has collapsed. With the details of the carvings, almost everything is leading on to a head of a cobra, that's a naga. Originally the lake was surrounded by the wall, but now a lot of deteriorated. Pontiacri built Jayavarman in 1107 or so, is a Buddhist shrine.
Stepping on the Naga.
Garuda stepping on Naga. That's Garuda stepping on Naga. This is the temple inside. The same location, some of the damaged ones, and underneath excavation released several statues of Buddha. Another view of the same Buddhist temple built in the 11th century. Despite a Buddhist temple, and yet on the top is the Rama and Sita. From the epic Ramayana, several of these things are still to be seen. Inside is Gautama Buddha. This Buddha that I just pictured was replaced in 17th century because it's just an entrance to the temple that's further in. As we walk to the entrance and the 17th century Buddha, this is the further in. This is on the side. Further in to the main Garbhagudi. On these pillars are the carving of beautifully done dancing apsaras. Building also had a nice windows, especially what can be called the picture windows too. Further in, this is an appearance. This is the gallery, the main temple. Seems to be an upscale apsara with a large amount of jewelry. That is the tower with the detailed carvings. This was inside the incomplete part of Shiva Link. Mind you, this is in the apparently Buddhist temple. Some of the efforts to keep the place intact. Apparently there's some Japanese efforts to restore it completely. I am not sure whom does it represent. Definitely does not appear to be Buddha. Another view of the ruined temple with some of the trees have grown. Called Paparam. Like gave him equal to 25 cents and he's happy to play this. This is a Dharmasala in ruins.
Growing on the roof, and the road drifting to the stone block. R-U-H.
This is called Paparam. Sounds similar to Tambaram in Tamil. The trees have grown, probably causing further damage or maybe some stability. Now a closer view of how the tree has come from the roof. The details of carvings on the wall. As I look through the window, this is some of the damaged statues. This is another view through the door. That is the root of the tree with the vendor on the side. The view was seen from the other side. This is a pseudo door.
False door.
Showing the intricate stone carving. This is the inside the temple. You can see the ruins. Somebody modeling. Further ruins. More ruins that can be seen. It's some of the guards sitting. This particular lion face is also seen on South Indian temples, though it's modified slightly in the facial features. Further inside with the tree. A New Yorker's surprise beehive. This is the main Garbhagudi where with these holes apparently the diamonds and jewelries were kept. Another very finite workmanship, still well preserved. This looks like according to Shaila's, Stegosaurus. This is again a lion. This is a deer. The blind people playing music. The exit from Tapram. They're ready to leave. Again head of Buddha. Underneath of which with the women in praying pose. This is a Shiva temple, probably built later, as all the early temples were that of Vishnu. And these steps are very steep and quite a bit worn out, and also the foot space is very narrow. We decided not to climb up. The temple is pretty big and spreads both sides. The elephant terrace. On the walls of the elephant terrace is the Garuda, apparently supporting the heaven, stepping on Naga. This is the king would sit here on this elevated area with the people sitting on the side for watching the army and other personnel marching or apsaras dancing. This is the background of this place, similar to a parade ground.
The wooden house, the stone building just for the god, so it destroyed by the way.
Finally, this is the palace entrance. Palace was apparently of wooden and stone for temples. The palace was destroyed. This is the entrance to the palace that is no longer there. The details of the Naga. the details of Garuda. Now the details of Naga. Ninth century Hindu temples built of more of a brick. This is called Prarup. One can see that these are made of bricks. This one is a stupa to keep the ashes of the king. Even today, not everybody practices cremation. Apparently, cremation is more expensive than burial. The entrance still has the fine workmanship, even though it is of the 10th century. This is another stupa. Kings were even, or their ashes were buried in the temple complex itself. On the right lower area is the pedestal for Nandi, and the steps leads to the main temple or the Garbha Gudi. This is the original smaller Gudi with a deity removed, with the base being present, and the Abhishek used to be done with tender coconut water, and one can see the drain for the Abhishek water to go out. View from the top, where you can see the pedestal for Nandi. These steps are very steep, not the type that Rani would like to climb up. Another view. That is the entrance to one of the temple.
This frame is a monolith.
Apparently a lingam was here. Only the pedestal is remaining. Now of course a Buddha body is present and worshipped. Look at these steps. Does Rani really want to climb them? She would have regretted, and I could have been in big trouble too for bringing her here. Another temple on the side, one can see clearly the pedestal for lingam. Now I am looking at the back of the temple with a pseudo door. Again, on the top of the door, one can see the symbolic thing of a lion similar to that of the Indian temples. Now the Dwara Palakas are not actually statues but on the wall. Our guide tells me that in the 10th century they did not have the technology for an erect statue to be carved. This is Niyapuran, built in 12th century. One can see it is like many of these ponds built in Indian temples, with the two snakes guarding, and the head of the snake faces east with the tail on the west and intertwining. It is fed by rainwater, and towards the southern end The structure that I am seeing underneath is an elephant head through which the water comes out. At each end, meaning north, south, east and west, there is another sub-kola. On one of the structures facing west, one can see the boat, meaning navigation was known at the time by waterways. This is the central structure. Now the arch above Buddha with the almost like a lotus and the lion above is identical to Utsava Murti that we see in the temples even today. This is where the water comes through on Saran end with an elephant.
This is the temple of Rekang built by King Jayavarman VII for the Buddhist temple that the king assimilated religion. On the east dedicated to the Buddhist, the north and west for the Hindu, and the south for the animism religion. In 1196, that before this is the battlefield between Khmer and Cham, and the Khmer army king the field Cham here. In 1186, the king Jayavarman VII built a temple on the bloody field for dedicated to his father Dara Indravarman II, symbol the father of the Buddha.
There is a fourth wall.
The statue of lion that they excavate around the foundation here.
By the time of Jayavarman VII, that is the 11th century, the clear Dwarapalaka was established at the entrance. By this I mean a erect statue compared to on the wall. On the top of the entrance one can see the Hindu symbol, and here is the several doors leading on to Garbha Gudi. This is inside. Watching all this remains of Belur temple and the guide movie, except I am not that adventurous, or I am not that negligent of Rani either. Finally, Vishnu and Adishesha and Lakshmi. Look, Cambodian version is even better. She is probably massaging Vishnu's leg. A lesson to be learned by the original people. This is the Bhaktas, or actually the Rishis, maybe Sapta Rishis waiting for Vishnu to get up from sleep. This is the face of Vishnu. In the same temple, the Ramayana war, Rama being lifted by Hanuman and Lakshmana is behind Rama, and here is Ravana on the ground being somewhat damaged and yet well preserved. The bird's eye view of the remaining temple complex. Another current pathetic view of once a well-developed civilization. Another part of the temple, the nice walkway.
This is outside the river, the main entrance. Promotion the high rank, and then they come to pray in here.
2 stories. This is where the sacred sword was kept. how the trees are growing on the ruins. This is the eastern entrance.
You want me to do it? I said I'll just
View of the two-story building where the sacred sword used to be kept. This is on the doorway. Apsaras dancing. The poses are very similar to Tandava and Nritya, some of the poses of Bharatanatyam. Again, an intricate work on the walls. This is Shivalinga. This is a stupa. Means ashes are buried underneath after cremation. Another entrance, there are 4 of them from this level. Finally, I see the Shivalingam in a much preserved and a clearly definable shape. With all the damages, still some of the intricate work is preserved. This is the way the arches were built. This is the pedestal for Rama, Sita and Lakshmana. I do not see one for Anjaneya. This is apparently Krishna, referred here as Govardhana in Cambodia. This is the western end. On the top, again the theme from Ramayana with the Ravana with the 10 hands and Rama Lakshmana at the other side, and by now they had the Dwarapalakas standing. As soon as you come out of the temple, this girl is selling Angkor beer. This is the climbing the top of the hill for a panoramic view. This is certainly not for Rani. One can take the elephant ride to the top of the hill also. Real rough climbing, slippery too. Having reached the top of the mountain, here is another temple. Another view. See the temple on the top of the mountain, covered with people as they are waiting to watch the sunset. View of the courtyard of the mountaintop temple with the people waiting to watch the sunset. The sun is also waiting to set as much as the people, but sun is not going to rush. Western view of the same temple. Another view of the ruins. Cambodia is just like India. You can see this scene which is next to the hotel where I am staying, and this grass is maintained by the hotel with a nice fence, and outside the fence is all the garbage. And look at the fancy hotel. What is at the entrance of the hotel? In a minute. Ganesh at the entrance. Part of Samudra Mardana at the entrance of the hotel. At the pool area there is a Samudra Mardana. Let me go closer to that. I'm going from my left to the right, and Adishesha head is there, and this end is the Rakshasas, and you see the dancing of Apsaras. I do not know this big guy here, and they are holding Adishesha, and now in the middle is the turtle. Above that is the, I think, Tandava Nartana as a part of this Samudra something, I don't remember the name, and some devatas are watching from the top. Then the tail end are the devatas, but it is unclear to me if the Apsaras still dance on the devata side as they were doing only on the Rakshasa side to weaken them. Here Brahma is also pulling the other end. It is unclear how Brahma was involved. This must be a Cambodian version. And as it continues, this is Garuda at the tail end, who is the Vahana for Vishnu. This is the most complete one of Samudra Mardana I was able to find, as the one in the temples were all incomplete. Hope this is authentic.
Yeah, this one we call a Vantiesrai. This is a small size and excellent on decoration. Built by pink sandstone. Pink sandstone in the mid of 10th century. Yeah. And this temple situated on the northeast of Angkor Wat, within 40 kilometers, and in the midway between the pre-city of the Angkorian day to the Angkor city. So originally this part situated in the center of the mid-ancient highway, built by the Guru, the king, and he came from India. His name Janya Varaha. So the temple is a mixed style, Indian and Khmer style. Indian. We could be compare this is the precious gem or the jewel in the Khmer art. This right here. When the local people they saw beautiful lady or Apsara that they carve on the tower, very beautiful that they call Vantiesrai. Beautiful lady. When we are right inside there, I will show you later. Yeah. This is pediment.
This is again Indra on the 3 elephants. Again there is always a Naga, always present. Again a very intricate work on the entrance door. This is from the, after going to the gate, the walkway has got a lot of pillars. This is a sandstone entrance with the Sita being abducted, and here is a deer with a demon, and there is a difference in the version and the expression of the Ramayana epic. This is the ancient Kuhar language of the 10th century. Again the base of Linga at the entrance of the temple. Again at the doorway, the language that is seen. A scene on the way, the beautiful what appears to be water lily, on the pond that is both sides of the temple entrance. This is the reflection of the temple. The large number of tourists flocking, mostly Japanese. This place is called Ishwarapura. The temple architecture is totally different, made of pink sandstone. Whereas the tower or the Gopura has a more of a South Indian pattern, unlike what I've seen earlier. This is again a Shiva temple. Just inside is the Gajalakshmi, has two elephants that are seen next to Lakshmi, and underneath is Garuda. We are further inside. Okay. This is apparently Kubera with the lion's head, and one can see the very clear preservation. The details can be seen here of the Shiva in the dancing pose. Again the intricate work. This is Nandi damaged in front of the Shiva temple. This is on both sides of the temple is the library. On the top of the door is Shiva with Parvati, with the Maharushis, and here is Ravana wants to meet Shiva from his prayer, but is prevented by Saptarushis and Anjaneya and others. Apparently Shiva is, correction, Ravana is very angry and is shaking up the mountains. This is the temple, main temple with the main deity being Lingam, and it's a small entrance. One can see the large number of tourists was blocked. This is another view with the Dwarapalaka. You can see it's broken and it is hollow despite carved from stone. And again the intricate details is reflected very clearly. Again the intricate work clearly seen. Again I can see a Ganesha for the first time, unless it meant an elephant. As I'm seeing only a trunk, possibly it is an elephant rather than a Ganesha. That's a false door. And here is an Apsara on the side, but whereas the main one will have more of a Dwarapalaka who is a male. This is from the back of the temple. This is Bali and Sugriva fighting with the Rama on the side. This is on the doorway of the back of the temple. Apparently the Bhima splitting the body, the details is not very clear to me. This is the Krishna killing Kamsa. Again the rest of them are from the Mahabharata. This is another view from the western side. This is again a scene from Mahabharata with Arjuna fighting the war of Mahabharata, and this side is the Kamsa. Correction. My mind is blocking, I can't get the name of the older brother of the hundreds that Arjuna killed. and on the top is Vishnu watching the whole thing. This is just outside of the temple with the doorway depicting Narasimha Avatara. That is Narasimha. It is on the opposite side with Shiva and Uma, as is called in Cambodia, on Nandi.
ถ้าท่านอยากถ่ายรูปก็เชิญไปตรงนู้นนะคะมุมตรงนี้จะถ่ายรูปวิว